that corner is clear. We think that the XRP ledger can be used in these ways because it is a blockchain. But on the back end, there are fully decentralized tokens that represent ownership or that can be used as collateral. We can see that now. It was hard to make a big splash in the capital markets without a real partnership between fintech, even though I thought our goods were great. It seems like it will happen soon. It has to be an XRP ETF if it never works. There will be a bombing test. That's right, there will be a test. I don't think Republicans and Democrats are fighting with each other right now, but it's possible. There are people who support both the administrative state and the central government, I think. That would mean that gold would need to be revalued a lot. I hope it won't become a new account overnight. It's possible that you will need to return to some form of gold standard, gold tied, or gold backed in some way. Did you know that? In the past 3 years, 80% of all US dollars have been made. People often ask me if I support crypto. No, I'm for freedom. It's been said that Bitcoin is like digital gold sometimes. No, there is gold in the mind. Bitcoin is not the same. Do you know what you hold? Have fun on the ride, buddy. If you have a baggie, welcome to the party and welcome back to more Moon O'Clock news. Shout out to the latest episode. Appreciate you tuning in and smashing those baggies. The total value of all cryptocurrencies today is $2.65 trillion, which is down about 1.5% in the last 24 hours. XRP is currently ranked 8th, worth about 51.5 cents. Flare Networks is in 3rd place, worth 0.027%. Axelar is worth $1.04. 4DC.036 Songbird is in 8th place. Stronghold is 0073. Zahal is ranked 11 cents. Ever, no 20 cents. And Egrag Crypto is the last place. One idea is that institutions can make things that are highly regulated, like portfolios of heavily regulated traditional loans, but they can still work with DeFi systems. For instance, you could have a regulated lender that gives out very traditional loans for business or real estate, and then you could tokenize that debt so that anyone can keep it in a DeFi system. I believe this is true if you look at how systems work and how the internet grew. Adoption by the military and the government made it possible for adoption by the people, which built the system. Synergy is what really makes something that can grow and be powerful. I believe we can see that turn. We think that the XRP ledger can be used in these ways because it is a blockchain. We have one from VET. At first, people were against Ripple and the way they run their business. This is now becoming more common. The whole crypto and DeFi world is already powered by institutional and regulated assets. As an example, Circle and Tether both have stablecoins. Looking at the XRP ledger DeFi roadmap we saw yesterday, it's clear that the focus is on institutions and all the required technical changes are on the way. Yes, I believe that steady coins like USDC and Tether are the most important proof. They are about as formal as things can get. Still, they are what keep these totally decentralized markets going. Right now, I don't think you can say that institutional adoption won't lead to grassroots acceptance and vice versa. If we tried to get institutions to use blockchains for their payments too soon, I think they wouldn't have brought their users with them. Let's say your bank uses Ripple's payment system, blockchains, XRP, and payments. For you as a customer, you can't see it. They are not going to bring you into the world of blockchain. The cool thing about this second wave of institutional adoption is that these companies are either putting their own users on the blockchain or making it possible for people to do things on the blockchain. If there is going to be mass acceptance, I think you have to accept that it will be these kinds of together. People didn't believe that everything would have to be controlled. But now I see proof that it wouldn't necessarily mean that it would have to be. One thing I think people didn't know is that you can have a stable coin, a loan portfolio, or a tokenized asset that is fully regulated. Every customer goes through KYC and AML checks. But on the back end, there are fully decentralized tokens that represent ownership or that can be used as collateral. As we can see, all roads lead to the bridge. 707 Crypto DTCC is in charge of digital assets and works with fintech companies that have specific skills. Without making deals with fintech, it was hard to make a huge impact on the financial markets. They saw that you had entered the digital assets. In fact, they've been working with digital assets for more than 10 years. They bought the company Securency in December, which was the one I was running. On top of that, Securency is a blockchain technology business. The goal here is to protect the safety and soundness of the markets, which I'm sure you already know what DTCC does. And what we want to do is the same thing we do for physical goods, but for digital ones. So build the infrastructure, make it scalable, and make it resilient so that the whole industry can use the same platform instead of the many different ones we have now. That's the goal. Then, together with financial companies that have very specific skills, we're also looking for ways to work together to help add to your very deep understanding of the markets. I realized a lot while I was at Securency that even though I thought our products were great, it would be hard to make a big difference in the capital markets without fintech and the idea of capital working together. At Consensus, Chad Steinberger and Brad Garlandhouse said that there will be an ETF for XRP, Solana, and Cardano. This is a sure thing. Brad Garlandhouse says that XRP goes down in value and that an XRP ETF is likely. If you have more ETFs, it will happen. It's kind of like saying you're running when the stock market first started up in the 1930s and 1920s. Does that make sense if you only moved one stock? That doesn't make sense. There must be more than one ETF. I now have an ETF that is big enough. It seems like it will happen soon. It will be an XRP ETF, a SWAT ETF, a cryptos ETF, and if it never works, it will be a SWAT. The best is still to come. Crawl and walk. After that, we rocket. To Tom Emmer, crypto isn't a political issue. It's not political. We have to make sure it stays that way. To begin, it's not a nonpartisan issue. This is not political. This can't go on like this. So I hope both sides figure it out, turn into a USVS, them problem. It needs to be a we. We've worked very hard to make this happen. I know people will argue, but I don't think Republicans and Democrats are fighting right now. There are people who support the administrative state and the central government, and there are people who support the person. We got one from SBI XDZ Network APAC. Translation, sorry for the delay. The first joint venture project between SBI Group and XDC Network, which they've been working on for the past year, was successfully completed with our three-quarter report. Please see below for details on SBI XDC and a shout out to Gerard Crypto for sending me that. They SBI Holdings, XDC Network, and R3 Corridor were able to finish their interbusiness payment of proof of concept. The dollar is losing its power, so black swan capitalists say that central banks are buying gold to wait for a price. A re-evaluation that desire can only be met by making the price of gold go up. However, it won't happen all at once. At first, there will be a slow shift, but eventually there will be a big change that will require a big evaluation of gold in order to meet this demand and make gold the world's reserve currency, which I think will happen. I hope this evaluation doesn't happen all at once. Some people are saying that the US will change the price of gold. It could be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times or something else. That's how the US debt problem can be fixed. As was said, the world will eventually return to gold. People won't rush to buy German or Japanese government bonds if they lose faith in us government stocks like the US dollar. The whole system will not work as well as it should. If that happens, you might need to go back to some kind of gold standard, gold-linked or gold-backed in some way. Not because you want to. No central bank in the world wants to switch to gold, but they might have to in order to give people faith again. So let's say you agree that we need to go back to some kind of gold system to build trust again. How much would gold have to cost for that system to work? Etta Farina, when we talk about gold, a model shows how gold can be tied to XRP for institutional payments. I don't see a way out for the new financial system, which is based on digital assets backed by real assets. In a speech 12 years ago, Elizabeth Warren told the people of Massachusetts that she would go to Washington and hold bankers and the banking industry responsible for the ongoing wrongdoing. Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, the biggest bank in the country, recently testified, or rather testily lied, before Senator Warren's Senate Bank Committee. Also Senator Warren, remember this, that Senator Warren planned to ask an answer she thought the head of the SEC should give. Also, the expert wrote, quote, "Please let me know if the questions are okay as they are." She sent me a follow-up price 2 days later. Let me know if it looks like the chair has any problems with how the questions were worded. We do not want to put him in a tough spot. Put an end to the quote. And it looks like the chairman didn't mind these questions because Senator Warren asked them almost exactly as they were written in the email.